Well, hello and welcome to another Archeryshack podcast. I am Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
And we got a special guest, and this should be some good stories out of this one. We got Mr. Brandall Wood. What's up, Brandall?
What's up, man?
I don't know. Brandall just came out of the woods. We had to wait on him. He smells like that smoke scent we've been selling in here. But Brandall is a killing machine.
I am.
And probably not quite to the level of Chuck Mulkey.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I need about 20 more years experience. He's old, so,
Hopefully he don't break a hip soon. But anyway, Brandall's a killing machine. I've known Brandall, I don't know how many years now, a good many years.
I've known you since you had when you first...
That's right. You came to the old shop, the little bitty shop. Yeah. I forgot all about that. Mm-hmm. That's been a while. So it's been like 6 or 7, 8 something years. Mm-hmm. You were just a wee little lad.
I was.
Only had 12 kids instead of 16. Brandall's quite the ladies' man.
Nah.
I don't know if we should get into all that or not, but
that's some good storytelling.
That could make the podcast. Brandall is a hell of a pig hunter. All the time I see you posting pig stuff, and we'll talk about that more in a minute, but we got all kind of good stories. He shoots, he's a bow hunter first of all, and let me think, what bow did you shoot when we first met? I
had Clifford's Bowtech.
Okay, Bowtech, and then let me think back to them days. Jared ended up with it? Somebody ended up with it.
Ryan Burt ended up with it.
That's right. And then, didn't you have a bear or no?
I had a bear charge, and then I ended up getting that Hoyt Kateria, something like that.
Kateria, yes, right, that's right. I forgot about the Hoyt. I'm trying to think of what all bow. And then you had
Then I got the Nitram.
The Nitram, and then the carbon bow. Didn't you have a carbon bow?
I got the RX-1 turbo.
I was thinking about Nick. He had the carbon spider, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But anyway, Brandall, he is a bowman. You shooting a Matthews Triax now.
The Bumblebee.
Yeah, we have nicknamed it the Bumblebee. I think on our Instagram, it's been like a year ago now, but we put yellow strings on it, and I called it the Bumblebee. Brandall's had quite the experience with crossbows.
I have.
Yeah.
My favorite being he left one cocked in a hot car and it annihilated it.
It did.
And then my other favorite one was they sent you a replacement one or whatever happened, and I don't remember who was in here, but you couldn't pull it back or whatever, and you took your socks off and had them around your hands and was laying on the floor trying to cock it with your foot.
Had to cock it with my hands.
And somebody walked in and was like, "What in the hell is going on in here? Welcome to Archershack."
Now the best one out of that was I went hog hunting one night, brought my bow back in the case, never decocked it. I just forgot all about it. Left it in my bedroom, which is right beside my parents' bedroom. And about 2 nights later, it was probably about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden, I wasn't even there. And all of a sudden, the bow explodes inside the case. And my dad jumped up out of bed thinking somebody was breaking in the house. So I've had my experience with crossbows.
Yeah, Lord. We won't mention the brand, but that one you got has been rebuilt, about 3 or 4 times?
It's actually just got sent to the shop last week to get new limbs.
Man. Man puts a hurt on stuff. One of my favorite stories was we'd restrung one of your bows, and then you came pulling up out here with it, and you just had it in the back of the truck. No case. It was just bouncing around in the bed of the truck, and I was like, "What are you thinking?" And you were like, "It shoots."
This shoots great.
And then you put the pig blood on the string, and I about had a cow.
Yep, I get a little bloody sometimes.
Man. I'm trying to think of what other bows. We had Bumblebee.
The Hulk.
The Hulk. That was in your John Dudley days. Mm-hmm. You were going to take the 94 Ford Explorer and John Dudley it out one time.
I was.
That would have been cool.
Now it's Red Arrow.
Okay. I'm not extremely familiar with Red Arrow.
Kip Campbell's the host.
Okay.
I think they're out of Virginia or West Virginia. I can't remember.
That's what we did out there.
Man.
I bought all his stuff.
And then you were a Major League bow hunter for a while.
Yeah.
That was when you had the little what was that little vehicle you had?
Geo Tracker.
Yeah.
Still got it. Still got the Major League Bowhunter seat covers in there and everything. My dad drives it around now.
Speaking of your dad, I guess last week we talked a little bit about tree stand safety and all that, and I remember about 3 years ago.
Yep.
Brandall called me and was like, "My dad the tree stand broke or whatever happened. He fell and he's in critical care and all this stuff." And I was like, "Man!" And I remember for like a couple of weeks, I guess there was all kind of surgeries or all this stuff going on. His back was jacked up. What all happened there?
He just now. Let's see. They said that when he fell 24 feet straight down. What it was, a ratchet strap broke. And he fell. He hit his head real hard. They said one of his vertebrae, it was like somebody just basically took a hammer and just smashed it. And luckily, he don't remember nothing about the fall. The only thing that he remembers about the fall is hearing the wind go through his ears as he was falling.
Man.
And I was 200 yards away, and we're sitting in some hardwoods hunting, and I just hear what sounds like metal slamming really hard, just crack. I sat there for a minute, and I only had one safety harness, and of course, Dad was wanting me to wear it, and I sat there probably for another 5 minutes trying to figure out what it was, and it finally hit me that Dad was behind me, and that's the same direction it come from, and I remember I was like, man, I don't want to walk over there and check on him and mess his hunt up. So I pulled my cell phone out and I called him, and he didn't answer. So I was like, I better go check on him. So I made my way back out to we was hunting on the edge of a food plot. There's a milo field, and I worked my way back to the milo field and walked down about 200 yards, and I looked, and there's a little hill to where if I made it to that hill, I'd be able to see the deer stand. It's where me and my buddy had it marked and stuff. And but I made it to the milo field and started walking towards that hill just to overlook and check. And I called him again, and he answered the phone, and he was dazed. He said, "Brandall, what happened? Where am I? What's going on?" And man, you talking about I never ran so fast in my life. And I finally made it to him, and I saw him laying at the base of the tree, and he just looked dead to me. And I ran up to him, and I sit there, and he kept on asking the same question: what happened? What happened? What happened? And I was trying to get him to talk to me a little bit, and I was trying to call everybody, 911. I was trying to tell the ambulance where to come. Cause we're out in the woods, we're out, and the milo field is head high, and so we're sitting there talking, and after a few minutes, he got real quiet, and it was literally this is the most terrifying thing that's ever happened to me.
I'm sure.
He looked up at me, and he said, "Son, I love you, but I'm not going to make it. Tell your mama that I love her, and tell the grandbabies that I love them." And see, 2 hours or an hour before we actually got in the truck to go hunting, he was holding both my youngest kids, my little girl and my little boy, both of them in both his arms. And so he said, "I'm not going to make it. Tell your mom that I love her and I love you." And he closed his eyes. And it's not funny, but it's kind of funny because when he closed his eyes, I didn't know what to do, so I just slapped him. I just slapped him, and he opened his eyes real big, and he said, "Ow!" And I said, "You listen to me." I said, "You ain't dying." I said, "Talk to me." And long story short, ambulance came in. The property owner, he was nice enough to tell the ambulance, drive all through that food plot to get to him and get him out of there and get him to a hospital. Ambulance came down, got him to a helicopter that had to land across the road, and flew him to Greenville. About the time he got to Greenville, he came to a little bit, and my dad, he's a very big Christian man. Somehow, some way, as the ambulance was there, and my dad was as he was being put on the stretcher, and I helped the guys actually carry him up the big hill out of the gully, and somehow, some way, my phone videoed inside my pocket of him talking to God,
Really?
and just talking, and it was about a 2-minute video of everything that was going on. I had no idea my phone, and then after we got him out of there, all of a sudden my phone stopped recording.
Really?
And that video went big,
I'm sure.
And we was driving down the road, and I think we was headed down 28, and I looked out across, and it was miles away, and I could see that helicopter flying, and that's when it all hit me at one time. And I never go anywhere without a safety harness, and I know they can be aggravating.
That's what we were talking about last week. Like, I know, I guess 3 or 4 people very well that has now fell out of tree stands and been in similar situations. You know what I mean? Like, it's no joke.
And I mean, I had a close call when my top piece of my climber slid and pinned me to my foot piece. So,
but anyway, so back to Jerry's story. They flew him to Greenville. I can't remember what all surgeries did he have to have. I remember.
I can't really remember. I know he had at least 2 back surgeries, if I'm not mistaken. And they said he hit his head pretty hard, but they didn't have to do anything to that. And the rest of it was all big swelling, bruising, and that's the thing. It's one powerful story. Whether you believe in God, whether you don't or anything, it's one powerful story because 2 hours before that, or an hour before that, he was holding his grandkids. He didn't get to hold his grandkids again for over a year. And I
remember keeping up with everything, and when he finally stood up and that type of thing in the hospital, you and your mama posting it on Facebook, and I was like, man.
Yeah, and nowadays they got I got my buddies. Sometimes they make jokes, if I fall out of a tree and it's my time to go, it's my time to go. It's just too aggravating. Well, if you got kids, that's a different story. And nowadays there's no excuse nowadays. It's almost 2020. There's no excuse nowadays not to wear safety harness. They make 1,000 different kinds,
but they're so simple now to put on. I mean, it's not like when you bought a tree stand, you had to run the strap, and then when you pulled it out, it was in a wad.
Now it's
and
nice
you had to figure it out.
Nice vests and all that stuff.
I bought one 2 years ago, a Hunter's Elite vest, and that it's got my pockets, it's got where I can put my hands. In the summertime, it's a little hot, but I don't mind. I just wear a thin Under Armour Ninja hoodie with a built-in face mask, and I'm covered. I'm good to go. I got full control of my bow during bow season, and then in the wintertime, it helps me stay warm. And now fast forward to this year. This deer season has been probably one of the best deer seasons I ever had. But my mother, she started getting into deer hunting last year, and this year, ever since all that happened, my dad has not hunted. He went with Mom in the backyard and just sat in a little box stand, and he never hunted. But this year, after I think it's 4 years, I think it happened 4 years ago, but he actually shot and killed his first deer this year, which was a little spike buck on one of our old spots we hunt in Abbeville on game management. He killed his first deer since fall this year.
Man.
And Mom ended up the week before Mom killed her first deer, which was a doe. So, I mean, people that are diehard hunters and don't want to wear a safety harness, hey, it cost my dad 4 years of not being able to hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you got a broke back, heck, you can't pull a bow, you can't shoot a rifle,
Man, that's something else, though. All this, what I mean? Like that's no joke.
Oh, no.
That is no joke. I remember when you called me, I think it was the day it happened or day after or something, and you were like, man, all this happened, which I'd already seen stuff on Facebook, and I was like, oh, crap. And then I was just like, this is not good.
I mean, everybody was really supportive. I mean, I had people from everywhere. Me and my mom, we had people everywhere praying and got a prayer chain started and everything. And, you get into the habit to where you go hunt and you do the same thing and the same thing and the same thing, same stand or this stand. You get used to it and you get in a, just keep doing the same thing. But all it takes is that one time, one slip, you doze off in the stand, anything. I mean, heck, I've seen on TV where a guy was hunting and a limb on the tree beside him fell and hit him and knocked him out of the stand, but the safety harness caught him. Stan Potts, I've seen an episode where he was all bruised up. He fell out of deer stand, but the safety harness caught him, but he hit the ladder, and even he said it would have been a lot worse if I would have hit the ground 30 feet below me. I mean, it just takes one time. So,
yeah, if you're listening, wear your safety harness. It's no joke. And you hear about it more and more and more and more. You know what I mean? It's not like just, I remember 10, 15 years ago, it was like, hey, I know a buddy fell off a tree stand or whatever. Now it's like, I know several people that's got seriously injured. So,
and you just wonder if it's inexperienced, just hunters, just first time hunters that don't have anybody to. But
like his, the ratchet strap broke, and then luckily Brandall was down, and then I know when a couple other stories, people were nearby, but I know when Daryl fell, I think he texted Travis, and something about Travis got some weird text, and his phone was covered with blood, so he couldn't really text, and they had to helicopter him out, and just.
But he was wearing a safety harness, but it was an old
one, and it broke. It caught, and then it broke and like flipped him.
Yeah.
And I think he got a hold of Travis, and Travis come flying in, and all pretty much the same story.
And then you got Mike McKenzie. He fell.
Yeah. We was talking about him yesterday.
Yeah.
But
and another thing for safety, man, when I go hunt, I let somebody know where I'm at.
Absolutely.
You don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
We had a club member, I think it was last year, we had a club member go hunt, and our club, I hunt Rabbit Hound Hunting Club, and they make us put a peg on the board where we're going to be at.
Yeah.
And the wife of the hunter called the president and said, my husband ain't home, it's late, he's home by now usually, but he ain't here, can you please go see where he's at?
Yeah.
Come to find out the man had a heart attack in the box stand.
Wow.
And I think they was able to save him just because of the pegboard and his wife knowing where he was at and everything.
That's crazy.
So I always try to let somebody know where I'm at.
You never know. So let's change the topic to pig hunting. You are the pig man. You got the thermal scopes and I remember a couple years ago you were one of the first people that had like the green light feeder thing going on, and people should find you on Facebook because they can watch some of your stuff you put out. But I guess you hadn't got you just got straight Facebook, not like a page, right? Just search Brandall Wood or how they need to find you.
Well, I ended up creating a mud and blood page on Facebook.
That's right. I forgot about that.
It's a group to where anybody and everybody can share their stuff. Now that it's deer season, I changed it to mud and blood and bone just so people can throw their deer in there.
Gotcha.
And but it's mainly for hog hunting. And once you got your other pages too, but mainly. And another reason why I wanted to take all my stuff that I had and put it in one page, that way I can never lose it. And I make some cool videos in my opinion. And like you said, I'm hell on some hogs sometimes. This past year it was my rockiest. I started hunting with old Mulkey, and
I hadn't heard from him. I need to get him on here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. It was my worst year ever. I killed a 345-pound hog. That was my biggest, thanks to my buddy Nico taking me over there. And
are you doing any bow stuff with them, or mainly just rifle? Or
I still pulled out the bow and I shot 3 or 4 with the bow with my triax.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting one of those night visions, and then Chuck got some of the thermals, and we ended up going crazy this year with them. I mean, we killed, I know me alone, I killed at least 35 to 40.
Man.
And if I'm not mistaken, Chuck, he probably killed around the same amount. But he
and there's still just pigs everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember not that long ago there wasn't that many, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's just like they're exploding.
Oh yeah. They are crazy.
That's something else. Well, we get questions sent in from people, and TJ has got them over there on his computer. Let's see what kind of questions we had in this week.
We have one on the YouTube page from Jason T. What's a good release to start a 13, 14-year-old with?
There's a bunch of answers, but I don't know, like the very rock bottom is you Walmart $20 job, which I wouldn't really recommend, but if that's what you got to get, that's what you got to get. What we sell in here is there's a True Ball Stinger wrist strap, just about $40-45.
Yeah.
And it's a good quality for that price. And then you go one click above it, and you get into, like a Scott Little Goose or a B3 King. But it's just according to what he's doing too. If he's just hunting, that Stinger's plenty. Well, if he's wanting to, they make the Fang Mini handheld. If he's wanting a handheld, and it's between $80 and $100 according to what all you get. But
and he didn't say if it was a boy or a girl. So main thing you want to make sure is go to a shop that has some where you can take them out of the pack and try them on.
Yeah, because I've had kids with bigger arms that could use an adult strap, and I've even had some men that come in here that need a junior strap. So but true, your big names, True Ball, we like True Ball. We like B3. They all have a used strap of some sorts, and a decent release. Is going to start at $40-45, and then go up to whatever you want to spend. But
yeah, just take them to a shop and let them just try some out and try them on. That's the biggest thing, and make sure you get one that's going to fit. And most of the time, and they're right there at that age of where they're shooting up.
And the good thing is most of these, you can, once their arm gets bigger, if they need to, you can take the old strap off and put the bigger one on. So hopefully that semi-answers some stuff. I know when I started with the Little Goose, I had a used strap. I guess it was 90. The Little Goose that just came out late 90s, 97, 98, I don't know. And then I kept it a year or two, and it ended up getting the bigger strap.
And then I don't know where this one come from. Might have been a text in, but what's a good holding weight, and is 7 pounds too little holding weight?
It's according to what you're doing again. I know Brandall likes that super duper dump over feel on a bow, like a limb stop feel with probably 6-7 pounds of holding weight. But then a lot of the cable stop bows, you get into your tournament people, they're gonna want 15 pounds or 17 pounds or whatever. And what that does is that keeps you more honest. You know what I mean? The more you're holding back, the better your form is probably going to be. Whereas if it dumps over, it's great for hunting. But if you're, shooting all the time, you can kind of get slack on your form and torque the bow around more and that type of thing. So it's just according to what you're doing, according to what works for you. I know people that shoot, a lot of let off good. I know a lot of people that shoot 65% let off good. What you like a lot of let off, I know.
Yeah, I like at least probably about 85.
Yeah. 80. I don't remember what your bow holding once you get it back, what you're actually holding, but
now with an Elite, as much as it holds back, I feel like to me I wouldn't be able to shoot good with that.
I know when I've shot the 90%, I didn't shoot as good. It's like if I put it on 80 or something, just because I can torque that thing so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's because I know when I shot 90%, I know my biggest problem was grip.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, but that was the first 90%. I've always shot 80% or 75%.
Yeah.
And so you jump from that extra 10%. Oh, it's nice in a deer stand holding back in case you got to hold back that few extra seconds. It's not as shaky as you would be, but I can see, like I said, I had a little bit of grip issues with it, but that question can load into this one. Is there any disadvantage of 90% let off?
Pretty much what we just said. If you're hunting, it's not bad, but I would definitely practice with it.
Yeah.
Because like you say, you could just the slightest amount of grip pressure one way or another, and my group was like a football shape, all of a sudden, and I was like, what is going on? And I backed it back down to 80% and went back to normal. So just, you still want to be pulling into the wall and that type of thing, or it's going to give up on you.
The next one is, I'm left eye dominant but shoot right-handed. Is this wrong?
Technically, yes. I'm weird because I'm almost even on my eyes. I can, if I do all the tests and stuff, it's even for me almost. Maybe just a teeny tiny bit goes toward the right eye. But I've noticed when people come in and they're right-handed but left eye dominant and they try to shoot right-handed, they have trouble, or they have to wear like a patch over their eye because that left eye always tries to take over if they open it at all, and you'll see like 2 targets or the wrong target or whatever. So I think you would ultimately shoot better if you're left eye dominant, even if you're right-handed shooting left-handed. And we've seen that with a few people that we've set up, and I've had people where you can get blinders that'll hang off a hat or whatever to try to block that eye out, but as long as that other eye is trying to take over, you're not going to shoot that great. So it may feel weird at first, but I'd probably swap over.
Yeah, I mean, I've just always been right eye dominant, so that's just what I've shot. And here in the shop, we get few left-handed bows in, and it's weird drawing left-handed when you're not used to it. So it's, the
one good thing I've always thought is if you did switch left-handed, you could at least relearn everything, but like the right way. You know what I mean? Because like we got so much muscle memory right-handed of, punching and release or doing this or doing that. If you had to do it opposite, you would probably retrain yourself better. But I would say go with the ultimate answer is go with the dominant eye if you want to shoot the best.
Then the last question we got is, why does my string hit my arm sometimes?
That could be a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Most common, it's too long of a draw length, but it could be bows with shorter brace heights or can get into that arm. I had a bow one time that fit me perfect, but I feel like it had a lot of string oscillation or something, and it would catch my arm occasionally, like coming back as it was oscillating the string. It was some weird stuff, but too long a draw length will do it.
Not putting a little bit of bend in that bow arm. At the elbow.
Super straight arm. That's pretty much it. Even when I hunt, if it's like cold or whatever, and I got something bulky on, I'll put an arm guard on to get all that crap out of the way so I don't catch my sleeve.
And a cheap trick to that is take old black dress sock and just cut the toe out of it and use that. I've done that for years.
Yep. And then, a grip if you really get into the grip hard, even if the draw length is right, it can still catch your arm. I've seen that just a few times out here, but people really dig in and their arm's too far in, but probably 9% of the time it's draw length.
That's all I got.
If y'all got questions, send them to us. It's crazy. We've been saying this for about 5 weeks, but people have called the shop and texted us and emailed and all that. But our shop line, if you want to call us up on the phone, is 864-735-8484. If you want to text us, which a lot of people has been doing, it's 843-560-9898. Email is archeryshack@gmail.com. So a lot of people, and then you can comment. If you're watching on YouTube, this is on Spotify and all that, and I don't think you can comment there, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can comment in the comment section and we get it that way. So we try to take a good gander before we do these every week and get everybody's stuff. Hopefully we hadn't missed anybody's, but we appreciate the questions. It kind of helps keep everything moving along. Let's talk about some new bows that were released this week. Bowtech came out with their stuff. Actually, I'll look up their specs real quick because I didn't do a lot of digging on them. A guy came in earlier and we were talking about their new bows, and he said he thought their riser looked too busy. But Bowtechs are kind of known for being fast. The Revolt and the Revolt X is their new bows. Let me just run over the specs here. To me, they look pretty snazzy.
Yeah, it don't look too terribly bad.
Let's see here. I was looking for this, but they got deadlock cams. One, I did hear about this. They got the cams situated where you can loosen a Allen wrench screw and then actually shift the cam left and right on the limb tip to tune it. I mean, that may be a bit much. You don't want somebody cranking that thing all over the place, but it'd be pretty neat. So it looks like we got a 30-inch axle to axle, 7 1/4-inch brace height, 335 IBO, 26 to 31-inch draw. Have y'all noticed, that was the Revolt, that bows have slowly started getting slower? Like it went from like, let's get all the speed we can get to let's get it to feel better and keep it around that 340 mark. I've noticed that like in the past year or two.
I would have swore that this year would have been the year that somebody would have come out with 400 feet per second. I honestly said that's where they're headed, is who's going to be the first to 400. And I've been surprised that they've gone backwards.
The Revolt X is a 33-inch bow, 6.5-inch brace height, shoots 340, a little bit longer, but I don't know. I think maybe Elite started it. They kept hammering the shootable bow, and they were the first to me of the bows that really just dumped over and held well. You know what I mean? And then a few people started following.
I'm looking at this deadlock now. If I'm looking at this right now, I haven't seen one, haven't touched one or anything like that, but is that going to take the place of shimming cams?
It is.
Okay.
It is. That'll be nice. And from what I understand, the picture we're looking at, you just loosen that top screw and then that bottom one shifts it left and right type of deal.
That would be...
For us, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But, just kind of worries you don't want people cranking that thing left and right. I'm sure they got it to where it ain't going to blow the bow up.
Yeah.
But still, that could throw it way
sweet.
out of whack. But, yeah, that's pretty neat. I don't see how you could...
Yeah, I used to shoot Bowtech, man. It was rock solid when you got it back, and it's a hard hitting bow, real hard pound. it's.
But to me, those look pretty sharp.
Yeah.
And then I know they came out with some tournament bows a few weeks ago, I think. Hoyt came out with their stuff.
Oh yeah, that's.
You got the Alpha Series, the Ultra Series, the Turbo Series. Let me just take a quick gander. The carbon stuff, like I hit a wrong button. The RX4 Ultra, or there's so many different ones. Let me see what we need to look at. So they still got the Nitrix, the Power Max, the Clash. Let me go back over. Let's start with the Carbon RX4 Turbo. So 31-inch bow, 5 7/8 brace heights, 350. That's pretty fast. The Axios Ultras, their aluminum bow, 34 inches, 6 3/4 at 334. And then, so usually in the Hoyt line, the Ultra means it's a longer bow. They got a Carbon RX4 Ultra at 34. The Axios Alpha, which is their mainline aluminum bows, 29.5, 6 I can't read what I'm saying, 6 1/8 inch brace height, 342. And a Carbon RX4 Alpha, same exact specs actually. So that'll be the top two big bows for them this year.
Now check out the speed on the turbo. The Hoyt turbos are usually a lot faster, but if you look at the turbo and the RX4 speed at 350, I think there's only like a 10 feet per second difference.
8.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's turbo cams. Now, when I had the RX1, the turbo cam was more aggressive.
Yeah,
it was harder to hold back.
Oh yeah.
But hey, that RX4, I can sacrifice 8 feet per second to have a better.
I agree.
So that right there alone.
Here's a random question: where do you fall? We talk about this a lot on the light, heavy arrow debate. Do you like a light, fast arrow? You like a heavy, slow, harder hitting arrow, or somewhere in the middle?
I always go with Easton Axis because of the skinnier diameter, and they get a lot of penetration. I usually get. You got to think I'm shooting big hogs and tough skin all through that fat, and I'm usually always just getting complete pasturing.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. So I guess you'd say a middleweight.
Yeah, I always shoot middle.
Right there in the middle. And there's always people ask a lot of questions about, shooting super lightweight or shooting heavy, and we go back and forth. Prime released their bows. We got one of them in so far. They just released like 48 hours ago. We let Brandall shoot it before we started. I always let people shoot it because I did a video on it earlier that'll come out this week, and it was just me, TJ, and Partain, and of course we all work here and we all like it, and people will always be like, oh, y'all sell them, y'all gonna say you like them either way. No, it's really not that way.
That's the best prime bow I've shot.
We've had brands we've carried, and then had a bad year or two, and we quit. We didn't order any. You know what I mean? We don't want to be biased, but anyway, they come up with a black series. It looks similar to the Logic stuff last year, except it's got an adjustable cam. The riser's got a little beveled on the back. It's supposed to add strength, and to me it stacks just a little quicker than it did last year, but I like the feel of it. I really do. But they sent us the 35-inch one. They got the black 1, 3, 5
and
9. So the 31, 33, 35, 39. The 5 is 342 IBO. You can adjust it 25.5 to 31 without a bow press, 6-inch brace height. And when they sent us a brown one and with black limbs, and then the 33 is 337 IBO, and the 31 333. But draw cycle and shot, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
There's two things I kind of didn't like the way it stacked up so early this year on it compared to last year's CT5.
They sent us this neat color chart. I meant to show Brandall before we started.
And then, to me, the 5, and I don't know if it's in the 3 to 1 or 9 or anything like that, but I felt a little bit of riser vibration, which that ain't a deal breaker.
Yeah, I felt it in the CT5 last year. I think it's just because it's longer. But the one we got, I threw some stuff on because I'm gonna shoot it in a little indoor league tomorrow just to put it through the ringer. But once I put my stuff on it, completely perfect. You know what I mean? So I'm a fan. I'm gonna probably end up getting the black 9 to shoot tournaments with. I don't know what color. And then if I was getting a camo, I don't know what I'd do.
Oh man,
there's so many options.
There's a lot of options here.
There's like a brown, and you could put a camo limb on it, or there's a ton of different neat camo
that
colors.
Real tree edge would look good.
Yeah.
Well, we had a guy ordered a CT3 this year with a black riser and real tree edge limbs that turned out super sharp.
Yeah.
I mean, that bow was sharp.
I think the brown one we got, if it had a fluorescent string, like a flow orange, flow green, flow yellow, it would be bad.
Some of those camo patterns on bows, man, they really pop.
Yeah.
I mean,
we had, what color was it last week in a 5?
The First Light Fusion, I believe it was.
And it was neat. It was the first one I'd seen completely done out in it. It was sharp.
It was.
But like I said, we do carry prime bows. If anybody listening is curious about them, give us a call or swing by and shoot one. I know we'll have all the models in next week, and then the rep's coming next week. Actually, we may try to get him on the podcast, and then hopefully within 2 to 3 weeks, we'll probably have 15 of them in here. So.
And, the biggest thing, too, we hadn't mentioned on primes is they went to a 7-piece string set this time.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know what to think about it when I first heard about it, but once I've seen it, I don't mind it. And I think just I think it gives it that little bit smoother draw, and the way the modules and all work, that's pretty simple, like no bow press. And then you can adjust the draw stop. Right now it's on 80%. But I could put it on like 90% just by smidging that draw stop over a little bit, or down to 60, 65%. So I don't think it gets much easier.
Which it did feel good.
My favorite thing about the Bears is almost in every model I've got at least one coming in that old Fred Bear camo.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what they turn out like.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not just spinning my wheels and people don't want it, but I would want one. You know what I mean? Like, that's neat. That's just old school. But and then there's the I hate to call them cheaper, but the middle of the line bows, the Paradox and all that stuff. We got some cruisers coming. They'll be good bows for that $300 to $500 range. And
bow fishing bows too.
Yeah.
Well, people that just want to get in, they don't want to break the bank on a setup. Those are perfect bows to get started with.
And then the new kids' bow is that Royale.
Yep, it took the place of the Cruiser Light, I think.
Yeah. We got some of them coming. Anyway, as far as just a big general blob of bows, I like them. You know what I mean? There wasn't nothing that was like, this is junk. So I think we'll do good with them, and we'll get some packages set up. And once we get them in, do some review videos and all that. I still gotta, I just threw together a quick overlook of that prime that came in today that'll go out this week, and then we'll do a full in-depth how fast it shoots at different draw lengths and how to change the draw length and all that type of video. But I like it so far. I really do. Let me think what else we can talk about with the Brandell that's age appropriate.
That's age appropriate.
Man, I don't even know. What bear? You had a bear bow.
Yeah, I had a bear charge.
That's it, charge. I couldn't remember what model it was. To me, those were real good bear. That's what, like, to me, put bear back as making good bows was like the Charge, the Game Over, the Truth 2, all those bows. I remember shooting them and being like, this is pretty decent, but I remember...
The Arena series was one.
The Agenda is probably my favorite to date, I think. And the Arena was a little more blocky looking, and I like them, but the Agenda stuff, I just really...
I like the Carnage.
Yeah, it was good. And they had them limbs that really swooped back.
And the Motive 6.
Yeah, the Motives was good stuff.
Good. Motive 6, that pig man on the Outdoor Channel shot a pig out of the... helicopter.
I remember that. I used to have it playing in the shop here.
Mm-hmm. That's how fast it was.
Is he still shooting for Obsession?
Yeah, he still is.
Okay, I didn't know. I was looking at his page because I hadn't thought about him in a while. But the other night I looked at his page and I don't remember, something was weird on there. I mean, he didn't say he had switched, but it just wasn't. There was nothing Obsession on there in the past couple of weeks, and I was like,
Well, he's talking a lot about them covert cell cameras right now.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what. I bought a. Spy Point something another camera. My dad put it out, and it's one of those. I've never got into the cell phone camera stuff.
Oh, they're the best.
But you put it out, and like that one, you get like 100 free pictures, which is nothing. And then it's like you don't have to buy the cards or the
or a data plan from your cell phone.
What's the SIM card? You don't have to buy the SIM card; it's already ready to go. All I did was download the app, type in a few things, and boom, it's taking pictures, and then you can pay by the month, no contract, and for like, what was it, $5 you get 500, 10 you get 1,000, and then 15's unlimited. But I've been impressed with the way that thing works, and it just sends it to that app, and the app, like I've got it and he's got it, and it just and here's a deer, and it just blows my mind how far this stuff's came.
Yeah, I remember my first trail camera was a Wild Game that took 4 C batteries, and I remember buying C batteries like crazy.
Well, if I remember, I think Chuck Mulkey had like the first cell phone one that I'd heard of, and I mean it was like hundreds of dollars, and I forget what he was paying a month. I remember him telling me that several years back, and I was like, that is neat, but there's no way I'd want to pay that much for that if somebody were to steal it or something.
I'm telling you, man, it's really changed my way of hunting for pigs and deer since I started buying the coverts.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do they cost? I hadn't.
I try to catch them when they're on deals for like $300. Sometimes they're $400. In between that ratio, and but man, you can control the settings from your phone right there on the spot. You can hit real-time photo and it'll take a picture for you right there. I couldn't tell you how many times I'd be going on a morning hunt for a deer and get to my spot, park my truck, check my camera, and the shooter buck that I'm after is down there in the pitch black dark eating.
Yep, and you don't want to spook it. Yeah,
don't want to spook them off. And this past year, we really put the coverts to the test for our hog hunting, because what we would do is we would have a corn pile set on like 100-yard shooting range, and man, whether it be cold or whether it be hot, we'd sit in the truck, watch movies, sit there and talk, hang out until bam, the phone ding-lings, and get out of the truck and walk down there and boom, boom. I mean, it changed it.
The one my daddy got, it's just now cheapo, but it was like $150, and then it had some little rebate crap. But for the quality it is for that price, I still just can't believe it.
Yeah.
I'd like to have out about a dozen of them things all over the place, where you could, like you say, you could really track. This is exactly and real time. It's not like you got to go pull the card or whatever. But
that's another thing I like about it. Something, if your camera stops sending you pictures to your phone or something, you know right then. Yep. You ain't got to. Some people, man, they check their camera once a month.
Yep.
It could die, get stolen, they wouldn't even know it.
And I know that one he got, it shows you the battery percentage, the cell signal. Like you say, you can change the settings on the app. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Even this year, they included GPS.
Man.
And made it was 12 megapixels. They changed it to 20 for the covert 2019.
What's the biggest pig you've shot so far to date?
That 345. And we used the covert to get it too.
Have you got any people like out of state wanting to come pig hunt with you or anything? I know there's 2 or 3 people that come in and, you know, they just put up stuff on Facebook, and they've had people come from like up north that wanted to shoot pigs. And
yeah, me and let's see, I got some buddies that come down from Ohio. Man, they drive 9-10 hours just to come kill some pigs, and ended up two of my buddies come down this year. We both they both got their very first pig. Two of them was some little Schultz. He shot with 30-06. He shot 2 with 1 shot. Dropped both of them. The other one, the other guy, he shot his first one with a Horton crossbow under a green light at 20 yards.
Man,
he went crazy. He never even experienced anything like it. And Chuck, he had some people come down and hunt. And man, I like when it comes to pig hunting, I like the thermals and stuff like that. But man, there's just something about doing it the way I do it, bow hunting them, and having, you know, it's one thing to have 20 pigs out in the field 100, 200 yards away. But man, you sit there and bow hunt them like I do and have 20 pigs 15 yards in front of you. Man, it is insane.
I guess there's 3 lines of thought on this pig hunting. One is like the bow hunting them, getting close, that type of thing. 2 is the thermal stuff is real popular now. You know, you stand out at the edge of the field and watch them. And I've seen a million pictures or videos posted lately, and I don't even know what all that costs to do to get all that. But and then the people are sticking them with knives. You know, they're getting right up on them. The dogs are pinning them down. But I guess that's the 3 main ways that people are doing it around here. But I know a lot of people that call and order strings or whatever that don't have many pigs are like, hey, y'all got a lot of pigs? I'm like, oh yeah. Who you know that can hook us up with a bow hunt? I'm like, well, I don't know. But
how many times you been running up the tree?
I've had some close calls. I've had back in the day, back when I first started, I used to never use a pistol. I didn't own a pistol. I didn't like pistols, and ended up me and Jared Reese, we was out in a thicket one night. And we was tracking a pig that he just shot with the crossbow I just got, and we was sitting there tracking it, following the blood. Next thing you know, I hear pigs coming in, and next thing you know, they're like doing a circle around us, and they're just circling, and we're, you know, in a thicket. I mean, you can't. It's briars and bushes and everything. You can't just flat out run if you want to. And I looked at him. I said, if we make it out of this, I said, I'm going to get me a pistol. And sure enough, the pigs, they kind of finally, we talked to them, you know, kind of hollered and made some noise, make sure they knew we were there, and they kind of eased back. And we got out. We found his pig and left it. Well, I mean, we just left it because we wanted out of there. Yeah. And I went that next day, bought a 1911 Ruger 45, killed a few with it, having some close calls.
All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and get off here. Brandall, we appreciate you coming.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure we'll have you back on at some point. Maybe we can get into the wild stories then that we didn't get into this time.
Tell you about some women.
We don't need you to get divorced again.
I'm going to leave the listeners and viewers with a question. Just kind of hit me. What are everybody's favorite hunting shows? You know, just
that's a good one. Yeah.
Leave us.
I'm almost out of the loop. You know what I mean? Like other than Facebook and a little bit of YouTube, I don't know. We canceled our cable a couple years ago, and I just kind of got out of the loop. But I hear a lot of people talking about stuff, and I'm not even aware of it. So yeah, let us know what hunting shows you watch a lot of. I'd be curious to know too.
Yeah.
Text it, put it in the comments, whatever. If you text us again, our number is 843-560-9898, and we may have a rep on next week. We hadn't confirmed that yet. We'll have him in the next few weeks. But we'll just keep on podcasting. Appreciate y'all listening, getting a lot of calls, telling us to keep going. So we will. But until next time, y'all be safe. I guess that's what I should say.